Mathew Schmalz is a professor of religious studies at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. He joins me now from there. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, Mathew. What are your thoughts when you hear all of the things that Pope Francis did or perhaps didn't do during his papacy? Do you think that he should have been more progressive or less?
Well, I think many people that I know obviously would think that he should have been more progressive. But given the circumstances in which he found his pontificate, I think he really did open up the Catholic Church in ways that no other pontiff has done before, and that will be one of his lasting legacies.
Indeed. And the thing is, though, while some people might have thought that he didn't go far enough in his progressive agenda, perhaps those more conservative Catholics around the world might be angry that he was as liberal as he was.
Certainly, and as many of your viewers might know, the United States has been the center of opposition to Pope Francis, with Pope Francis receiving public criticism from bishops in the way in which no pontiff has experienced before. So yeah, he didn't intend, I think, to be a divisive figure, but in certain parts of the Catholic world he was, simply because his reforms were so long-lasting and deep, even though people felt as though he should have gone further.
So how do you see it playing out for the future of the Catholic Church at this point? If the Church went from a pope like Pope Benedict, who was someone who was quite conservative, to someone who was a bit more liberal like Pope Francis, which way do you say things going next? Will it swing back toward a more conservative pontiff?
My guess, and it's only a guess, is that the Catholic Church will want to take a breather, and that many cardinals will think in terms of pastoral pope, maybe in the mold of Pope Francis, but also one who's not going to bring about great changes, because the reforms that Pope Francis has initiated have yet to settle. So I think many cardinals will think we need more time to process what has been a very eventful papacy.
Certainly. And what happens next? Like, what will happen next in the coming days and weeks as we move through this period of mourning for Pope Francis toward the election of a new pope?
Well, after the period of mourning and after Pope Francis's funeral, cardinals will gather in what are called general congregations, where they'll discuss issues relating to the church and its future. And these will be particularly important because many cardinals come from the periphery of the Catholic world and don't know each other very well. And so during those meetings, perhaps front runners for Pope Francis' successor will come into light, and then there will be the conclave in which the successor to Pope Francis will be chosen.
How do you see the future of the Catholic Church? Do you feel that that is a church that is growing, or is it a church that's in decline?
It's certainly growing, though I think in the Western world, particularly in Western Europe and the United States, the Catholic Church is experiencing a great deal of challenges. But in Latin America, particularly in Africa, the Catholic Church is growing, and I think what Pope Francis's pontificate shows is that the gravity of power, the center of power in the Catholic Church, has moved to the global south.
So given that Pope Francis was the first pope from Latin America, do you think the next pope could be from somewhere else in the global south, perhaps even from Africa?
Oh, yes, definitely. And I think that's actually fairly likely. Perhaps a pope from Africa, Latin America, perhaps even from South Asia. So I think what is clear is that even if there is a pope who is sort of interim leader of the Catholic Church, that the gravity in the Catholic Church has definitely shifted to the global south. And so Pope Francis will be the first pope from the Americas in the global south, but certainly not the last.
Since we heard of Pope Francis's death this morning, many people have come in to pay tribute to the Pope of the poor, a very accessible Pope, someone who was a Pope of the people. What do you think his legacy will be?
His legacy will be proclaiming Christian love, and that God is a God of mercy, that God accepts us for who we are and offers us eternal life within the context of our everyday lives in which all of us are sinners and in need of God's love.
Mathew, thank you for that. Mathew Schmalz speaking to me there from Worcester, Massachusetts. Thank you very much.